Hello everybody, welcome into the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays. Getting ready for two races actually I think we got left before the playoffs, and we're going to kick it off tonight with a good one for you, Talladega Superspeedway. Appreciate everybody that's joining in. You are watching Austin Green on Ghoster Racing Network. A little bit of a chaotic start here to the night for me, so I apologize if I seem a little bit uncoordinated, but nonetheless, as we head down trackside, let's take a look at your race info here to get us kicked off. Weather outside, 76 degrees, 9% humidity. Clear skies here tonight, winds at 2 miles an hour. It's the H&H Tractor Works 225 here tonight for the Truck Series. Going to be 85 laps around Talladega, 75% fuel. Everybody has 5 tire sets in the pits. One fast repair, and I can bet you just about all these guys are going to have to use that here tonight. Fixed setups as always, and the stage breaks tonight. Stage 1 going to end at the end of lap 20. Stage 2 at the end of lap 45, and we will have 3 green-white checkers if we were to need them. Rolling in out, taking a look at your starting grid here for the night. It's going to be Justin Parham for Grandstand Racing. He will start from the pole position. He's going to have Jay Stinson rolling off on his outside in second. Ryan Gomes will start back in third. Robert Morrison to his outside in fourth. Haas Beverly in fifth. Jeff Carl in sixth. John Lynch for SPINO Racing got the win last week in thrilling fashion at Indy. He will start from seventh. David Traylor back in eighth. Tyler Dudley in ninth. And another Hickox Racing driver, Joey Hickox. He rounds out your top 10 here tonight. Robert Dudley and Keith Prince going to be making up row 6. And it's going to be Riley Gomes and Chase Greer starting in row number 7. Matthew Dyer will start from 15th. Zach Stevens back in 16th. Billy Davison in 17th. Jake Bustos to his outside in 18th. Grant Turner back in 19th. Matthew Fritz going to be rounding out your top 20. Robert Duvendak, Albert Hewins, they will start from row 11. Going to be Ronnie Morrison in 23rd. Sam Boutwell at his outside in 24th. William George 25th. David Connell in 26th. Stephen Hins in 27th. Russ Kilgore in 28th. John Bell, 29th. Robert Gray rounding out your top 30. And the last truck starting in the field here tonight, 31st, is going to be Guy Bracco in the number 69 truck. So as we go down trackside, breaking Talladega down just a little bit more for you. I mean, we got to see Daytona at the start of the season. And I'm telling you, a lot of these guys over here at NOMA, of course, NOMA's got their own Super Speedway series. So you know a lot of these guys love whenever we come to either Daytona or Talladega. High banking, a lot of speeds, and bump drafting. It's going to be the name of the game here tonight, and who can do it the best. Always that risk versus reward. Everybody kind of playing a little give and take, but the closer we get to the end, the more aggressive they're going to get. 20 laps the distance again for stage number 1, and at 70% fuel, it's going to be close, but I don't think these guys are quite going to be able to make it. Actually, it's going to be really close. If they're able to save enough, they might be good to go. We'll find out. Here we go, up into the Geico restart zone. We roll. Starter's got the flag in air. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega. Down the backstretch for the first time. Everybody's still organized and trying to sort out some positions, but it's going to be Jay Stinson. He's going to get clear from the outside, quickly drops to the low lane. Justin Parham now sitting just behind him. Robert Morrison continues to lead the outside. He's got the 98 of Jeff Carl in tow, and the 54 of David Traylor. He's looking to make some noise here early. He sits third up top. We got one truck pulling off a little bit further back already. I think just looking to go to the back here. That's going to be the 74 of Jake Bustos. Remember, he had a great run last week. And he seemed, even though he's a rookie, he seemed like he knew a lot of stuff, was tire saving, and I think he knows quite a bit of stuff here. If he's going to the back at Talladega, I think that's going to be a smart choice by the 74. These guys probably going to get really aggressive as stage 1 winds down here in 18 laps or so. And he doesn't want to be any part of potentially the first big wreck that we could see here tonight. In just a matter of laps, especially as they continue to drag race it out side by side up front. Robert Morrison, plate tracks, he's one of the guys that really excels here. And man, oh man, you look at the playoff picture and guys that really need a win if they want a chance at making it in. And I think Robert Morrison might be one of the top 3 at that list. He's had a lot of struggles this season, but still been able to find some positives out of the negatives at some of the tracks that we've been to. And man, oh man, here tonight, if he could get the win, he would be one happy guy. Parham continues to push on the bottom. You see, he's not really on Jay's bumper just yet. They cross the line now, 3 laps complete. sitting back just a little bit. All he's got to do really here is just kind of sit, try to keep Jay up there and maintain the lines, which he's doing a really nice job of so far. 22 truck of Ryan Gomes back here. He's got a good looking paint scheme here tonight. Trackside Motorsport, one of the Trackside Motorsport drivers rather. And sitting third in line, he's got, I would say, maybe the easiest job. He's just got to make sure he stays somewhat close to Justin Parham, but doesn't have to worry so much about pushing, similar to what that 19 truck does. Now if the outside line decides to start getting a little bit more aggressive right here, and Jeff Carl decides to start trying to push Robert Morrison, that's where I think we see Parham start to make some moves. You see that 98 though, he looks like he's trying to get to the back bumper of that 43 truck, but just doesn't look all that comfortable right now in trying to do so. And he'll continue to work it, that little gap, almost like a little bubble of air. Not that hard to break in the truck, so when these guys want to push, they're going to push. You can see Parham continues to close back in on the back of Jay Stinson. There's the outside line started to surge. Taking a look though as the field widens out here a little bit, the speeds that these guys are going to be getting up to here tonight, these should pick up as the race goes on, but we'll compare that with your weather. This is what I think has the part of the reason these guys aren't pushing too aggressive yet. Look at the track temp, 126 degrees here starting out. And sim time right now, it's only 1:15, so there's a chance that track temp maybe gets even a little bit hotter here before it eventually starts to cool down. Time is moving pretty fast though in the sim. But about 100, almost 190 miles an hour there as they go down into turn number 3. They're starting to fan out 3 wide further back. And we'll see if they get this sorted out. Looks like the third lane that's trying to get going would be led by Ronnie Morrison and Robert Duvidak. Back tonight, good to see him. They're going to try to go around the outside here of William George in that 96 truck. And normally you don't want to find yourself in the middle, send you to the back, but William right now, he's getting a draft off the 4 truck of Russ Kilgore. And 2 of the guys that come to mind, actually I would say 3 of them when we look at super speedways and what's been accomplished so far would, of course, you look at Grant Turner, Russ Kilgore, Richard Hurst, all part of that crazy finish that we saw at Daytona to start out the season. Grant Turner currently one of the guys playing it safe. And actually, he's in a second pack here. So I wonder if these were guys that either potentially got an EOL to start the race, but I wouldn't think they would have lost the pack by this much. What I'm thinking is this may have been the guys that had to start from the pits. And you see Sam Boutwell, he has not made it out on track. He must be having some sort of issue. Stephen Hines, in 29th position right now. Robert Dudley is the 3rd truck in this draft, and he's in the 49, currently in 28th. There's Jake Busto still rounding out the pack, but man, things have picked up. That 3rd lane started to get moving further back. Ronnie Morrison and Robert Duvidak, they may have jumped down, but one of the rookies, Chase Greer, he decided to jump up in front of that 21 truck of Zach Stevens. And we'll see how much help they can get. They're going to get another one to jump up now. It's going to come in the form of Hickox Racing. Joey Hickox in the 3 truck slides up now to the 3rd lane. He's looking to draw even with that 98 truck. David Traylor now trapped in the middle. You see we got 3 trucks here tonight. It's throwing me off just a little bit. And that's actually, I take that back. Joey, you know what? We're going to figure this out by riding on board here real quick. Here's Joey Hickox talked about leading the outside line, but who's the other 03 here tonight? Is it Keith Prince? Yeah, it looks like it is. Rocking the number 3 scheme here tonight, but still registers as the 03. And we'll see if maybe him and Joey, since they're both in the 3 truck, can work together here tonight. Hickox Racing, 3 of the teammates got a win here. The most dominant team, though, I would say so far between Hickox Racing and SPINO Racing. Wow, that's a close call. Hold on to it, Robert Morrison. It's causing a lot of checkups now in that 3rd line. And man, that could have been a big problem as it looked like a little bit of a late block there by the 43 of Robert Morrison. Made the commitment. Joey cut him a little slack. Not sure how much Joey would cut him later in this race. But you can see that just broke up everybody on the middle and top lane, and now that has allowed Jay Stinson and Justin Parham to surge back out on the bottom now. Justin, he almost got cleared, or may have even got cleared for a second. Seems to be pretty content, though. Did not jump up, stayed down. He's going to continue to draft with Jay for now. And we'll have to see if this 3rd lane can get regrouped and get back going. Robert Morrison, though, the only guy left out, the odd man out. And he's going to go from what was leading one of these lanes to now being at the back of it. Still 2x2 up front, starting a single file out back. And we were talking about those 3 trucks, but Grant Turner, Russ Kilgore, and then of course Richard Hurst. The 3 guys that I mentioned when I talked about, you look at super speedways, just how much talent they have. Now Richard Hurst in the 76 machine didn't make it here tonight. And that all the more surprises me because just of how good he is at these speedways. Nonetheless, though, with that win, he's looking pretty good for his playoff chances. And here comes that third lane again, being led by Ronnie Morrison. Jeff Carl, you see him continue to offset. I think he's trying to duck out to keep that truck cool. It's going to be a hard thing for these guys to do with how hot that track temp is here tonight. But watch the 98. He'll tuck out a little bit to the left right here. That's for water temp. And not sure if it's so much that his truck's getting a little bit looser. He's meaning to do that, but nonetheless, when these guys poke their nose out to the left of the truck in front of them, it's going to help to cool that water temp down, but you got to be careful. You see the trade-off. He got to the back bumper there of Joey through the middle of the corner, and man, if he would have hit him just a little bit too hard, that would have sent the 3 truck around in a hurry. Now, if he ducks out to the right, which he can't do too easily right now because he's got Keith Prince currently to his outside looking for the lead, but that's how he would cool that oil temp down. It's going to be a game of just managing that this entire race. And when push starts to come to shove, that's where we could see potentially some of these guys be in danger of blowing the engine up, and that would require a fast pair. So if you don't have one, that could cost you your race. Keith Prince, Ronnie Morrison got big momentum there through and into the tri-oval, but it wasn't enough to get clear of Joey, so that middle line continues to stall out as the inside line continues to surge. And there's Sam Boutwell in the 47, going to be multiple laps down, but he's making his way out on track for the first time here tonight now. And when the tower shuffles, you get to see just how many. I believe he'd be 10 laps back. Yep, sure enough. Didn't make the start of the race due to technical difficulties. But how about 3x3 here, halfway through stage number 1? Going back a little bit further in the pack, here's a look at John Lynch in the 90 truck. And I believe he is the only guy that's carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. And sure enough, there's John, got the win last week at Indianapolis. And man, oh man, had to do everything perfect during that third run. Was able to get around Devin Bacino, and once he did, he set the sail up. A couple guys trying to catch him, but just couldn't quite do it. And that was his second win of the season. And we always talk about how Talladega is such a wild card, so you can't rule out that maybe he gets his third win of the season here tonight. Taking a look back up front. 11 laps now completed. The 3 of Keith Prince, he got clear, but he decided not to take it. Joey's trying to draw back even, but Jeff Carl has just been pushing for so long. I think he's really ran out of attempts to push for, and if somebody jumps in front of that 3 truck of Joey Hickox, that would allow the 98 to cool down a bit. And you got to think that Jay Stinson and Joey would like to get together right here. A little shocked that Jay doesn't jump up to the middle right here to try to get with his teammate. And instead, it's going to be the 2 guys working on that third lane, Ronnie Morrison and the 3 of Keith Prince. They're both going to jump to the middle. Ronnie now going to ditch him. And that puts Keith in an awkward spot. Joey looked like he was thinking about 4 wide, but I think he quickly thought better of it, and he is just going to push the rookie here. And, bringing up that point about Jay could have jumped up maybe to the middle there to help Joey. And I do a lot of money racing broadcasts, and we see that a lot there, but those guys get really, really aggressive right from the drop of the green flag. Now, you got to remember, when the NOMA Truck Series, it's a whole season for these guys. So they can't just go out here and quite lay it all on the line at the start of the race if they're looking for points. Everybody wants to get extra stage points. And, of course, you want to be around to have a shot to win it at the end of the race. Somebody's trying to do. And, by the way, for everybody watching in the chat here tonight, please let me know how the audio and video quality looks. If it seems like anything's mixing not too well. As looks like Buck 5947 in here says 19 always takes the pole. Nancy Hickox says, good evening. Race fans, glad to be watching tonight. Austin, sorry I missed my grandson winning last week. The best part of having these races broadcast is that we can go back and watch when we can. And glad to hear it, Nancy. We certainly missed you last week, but yeah, John Lynch, how about it? Got it done. Second one of the season, but I'll tell you what, if you got to watch the reaction after, you wouldn't have known that. Man, he was still pumped about it. Pumped about it in his interview. Said he'd been wanting to win an Indy for so long. Finally got there. And like I said, John Lynch will be one of the guys that you got to keep your eye on here tonight. Can't rule him out. We're going to shuffle back down to 2 lanes, double file for the most part here for now. Is where did Robert Dubendak come from? He is now leading that outside line. He's got Keith Prince behind him. The 98 of Jeff Carl, third in line, David Traylor. And you can see on that bottom lane now, Joey Hickox was able to get in front of his Hickox Racing teammate Jay Stinson. Only problem for them is that they do have the 1 truck of Ronnie Morrison in their way, keeping them from maybe trying to finish 1-2 for the end of this stage. Paul with a big slide. Tried to get up just in front of Jeff Carl. I think he was able to do it. Man, that was a close call. I thought we were going to split him 4 wide for just a moment. And man, oh man. The 22 of Ryan Gomes, he's still in this mix. And I saw Chase Greer. He's currently sitting in 8th. You see the rookie, and you can always identify him in the Doritos machine. He is currently right in the middle of the Hornet's Nest, and he's got the 21 of Zach Stevens just behind him. Now looking for Matthew Fritz and Matthew Dyer, two of the really fast guys this season that, again, I think you're going to see them at some point during this race. Not sure if we'll get any green flag pit stops throughout the second and final stage yet or not. But if we do, these guys have really good teams behind them, and they're going to try to make sure that they pit with them. Matthew Dyer currently in 15th, and just in front of him, or excuse me, yeah, just in front of him, Matthew Fritz. He currently sits now in that 15th spot. They're actually going to trade here. And the 29 truck course has a win. We got one in the wall. It's going to be the 9 of Riley Gomes into traffic. Everybody trying to save it. So far they do. It looks like Riley got it straightened out. Couldn't tell who it was exactly that he made contact with. Is there 3 wide back up front? I think it was the 64 truck. Yeah, sure enough it was. Of David Connell. And it looked like, not sure what happened there, but once Riley got up into the wall, was trying to get it off, just yanked it a little too far, and man, that could have ended really, really bad. Taking a look here, he's got a little damage on the right side. You see it there, but nothing too bad. Definitely not going to have to use a fast repair on it. Like I said, he's lucky there when he came down into the traffic. The 64 truck, I mean, they made contact. I was really surprised that 64 was able to hold on. Good save by David Connell. John Lynch, is he going to look 4 wide here? This is a little bit of a bold choice this early in the race. Now he's got one blink to the inside. Things are going to get really sketchy right here. John Lynch still trying to force the issue here below the 21. Zach Stevens wasn't giving him a lot of room, but if John Lynch sees just enough, you got to wonder if he's going to take it. Could have been potentially just cooling that truck down as well. The 40 of Chase Greer still trying to make it work now on the outside. Justin Parham stuck in the middle with Jeff Carl. Guy Bracco making a run up here, still looking for his first win this season. And from what I'm pretty sure, Guy, I don't believe, was able to quite capture a win last season either. So the drought has continued for the 69 machine on Shooter McGavin Motorsports, but tonight could be his night. He's currently 3rd in that middle line, having a good run inside the top 10. And now we come to 4 laps to go in stage 1, and we're still 3 wide. Carl down into traffic. I think he got disconnected. That caused an issue for another driver. Couldn't tell it was. They're trying to save it. Yeah, Jeff Carl, sure enough, I believe he got disconnected. And that is a tough, tough break for Ronnie Morrison. As the 98 eventually here is probably just going to either disappear, or it's when he gets back. And although he's back on track now. And man, what happened right there? We'll have to go back and take a look at the stage. Right now, the action up front, too good to miss. Oh, there it is. The big one's going to strike on lap 17. The 54 hard into the wall. The 21 as well. And there, Ulrich, and we got one up on top of the safer barrier. Trailer comes to a halt on the apron. He's got big damage. Robert Duvidak's the man that's going to sneak through. And there's the 3 of Keith Prince. He's all torn up. Man. Well, you can only play with fire for so long before it's going to burn you, and these guys have been trading haymakers for about the last 10 laps or so. You knew something had to give, and it finally does. Let's go back, take a look. There's a view of Chase Greer. Good for the sponsorships, not so much for the way the truck's going to handle after this one. We'll show you the hit in just a moment, but let's see if we can figure out how this initially starts. And wow, they're going to go 4 wide here into turn 3, and I take a guess that that's exactly how it's going to start here. And so Parham had been pushing Stevens here. I wonder if he just maybe got hot or got tired of it. Oh, no, what it is I'm not sure if this is the push from Parham or if Stevens decides to make this move himself. But he's going to get put as the odd man out. Let's take a ride on his cockpit view first and watch his steering wheel here. See if he decides to go down or if Parham kind of pushes him down. Yeah, that looked like he was trying to go down. I'll tell you what, sure enough. And we'll go back to the chopper view. So Zach Stevens, I think he gets a little indecisive here. He sees the run coming. And right here, it's really close on if he's clear. And I think he thought maybe he was, so he's going to try to take it. And he realizes now, not so much, a little bit of a hesitation. Now he's definitely not clear. He's going to try to hold it. You can do 4 wide here at Talladega, but it's not easy. Parham bails out of the throttle, maybe gets a little bit loose. Starts coming down. They all save it, but then Stevens almost looks like he's also getting a little loose. They save it again. But then Stevens, once he got out of shape that second time down the track, he goes into Chase Greer. They all slide up the track. John Lynch, he's involved with nowhere to go. And then here's Trailer coming back down the track, and everybody just scrambling to miss it. Looks like John Bell gets involved. So does Robert Morrison. And here's going to be the secondary wreck, which ultimately ends up being the bigger wreck. Back up the track. A lot of these guys go. There's the 15 of Tyler Dudley. Down to the inside goes Zach Stevens. and it's just everybody else trying to miss it. Now let's take a couple different angles of this one here. First from the TV3 cam. Watch this hit for Tyler Dudley. You're going to see him climb the safer barrier. That was the one that caught my eye. Almost gets into the catch fence. You got to think that's going to do some pretty heavy damage to that truck. Here's one from the TV follow view. And just unfortunate. And trailer took a big shot to the outside wall. The 22 almost got around. Unfortunately, he could not quite do it. Take a look from the wall cam. And I was trying to see if anybody actually snuck through all of this. And it just doesn't look like it. I mean, just about everybody behind it, unless they were able to stop, got involved. Keith Prince, though, I think our final angle of it here, we'll take a ride on board with him. And just know where he could go. There's the big hit as Chase Greer was washed up the track from the contacts. You see John Bell sliding in. Jay Stinson was involved. A lot of trucks, and this first wreck here tonight comes 19 laps in. Looking to see if we were going to get to run one more lap before the end of the stage, but it's not looking like it. And we are going to take lap 20, so if it runs out the way it looks like it would, I believe Justin Parham would be your stage winner. I'm not sure how the admins exactly are going to play this out, because when we cross the start-finish line to get the green flag, assuming that we get the one to go right here, then we would be taking the green right as stage 1 ends. And it would just be, I guess, a drag race to the line on whoever gets it. And we'll see if that indeed holds magnitude here on whether or not the lights on the pace car go out. And sure enough, they do. So unless the admins delay the caution, you would think Justin Parham would hold on for your stage win right here. Good news for Parham is that he's going to have a teammate behind him for this restart. And Matthew Dyer, Robert Duvendak going to be starting second on that outside row. And then the 98 of Jeff Carl. These are all guys that missed this wreck. Albert Hewins, Billy Davison. There's Guy Bracco, the 49 of Robert Dudley, Riley Gomes. Tyler Dudley, the first guy out that was involved in the wreck, and I believe he did use his fast repair. See if we can get a better angle of it here as he works his way through 1 and 2. Yeah, sure enough, he did. As you can see, the right side of that truck's all cleaned up. Matthew Fritz in 29. There's the 7 of Grant Turner. He's moving forward. Russ Kilgore in 13th. Keith Prince in 14th. And so far, I'm not seeing a lot of trucks that kept whatever damage they obtained through that last wreck. And what that tells me is we had a lot of guys take their fast repair right there. And you got to be careful, because we still have what's going to be 65 laps to go. If you get caught up in a wreck here early, usually once you wreck at Talladega, you're wrecking pretty hard. It's going to probably be terminal. And that could bring your night to an end here before we're even halfway through the race. So we'll see how everybody decides to pan it out. But if you're Justin Parham, I mean, I think you got to try to maintain the track position. Same deal for Robert Duvendak and Albert Hewins. The other one of the 2 guys left on Hickox Racing, him and Randy Bonomi, that are looking for their first win here of the season and try to complete the team sweep of every driver getting a win on the season. But I think Albert would have to win here tonight. Then, of course, they would need Randy to win next week for that to happen. That's because there's only 2 races left before the playoffs. And actually, yeah, next week's going to be the last race. That will be at, I believe it's Charlotte. We'll double check when we take a look at the schedule later. And then the All-Star race at Atlanta. It's going to be another fun one. Basically, it's been a lot of big fast track action here the last couple weeks, and will be the next couple weeks. Anything ranging from a fast 1.5 miles at Charlotte to the high banks of a 2.65 mile, biggest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway. All right, here we go. Looking to make the stage official. Green flag is back in the air. It's going to be a mad dash to the line, and it looks like it is going to be Justin Parham. I believe he will be your stage 1 winner. If it assumes this way, we'll get official word on it later. Nonetheless, though, he's going to lead them all down into turn number 1. Robert Duvendak second on the outside. Albert Hewins looking for a push, but after that, help nowhere to be found right now. Billy Davison did not get the best restart. And he is trying to claw his way back up to the back bumper of that 55 truck, but that outside will continue to fade until he's able to get there. I'll tell you what that wreck also did was put a lot of the big hitters and the really aggressive guys towards the back. And I don't think they're going to be content to stay back there for too long. The end of stage number 2 will be on lap 45, so that's going to be about 25 laps from now. They will not be able to make it that far on fuel. And so we will see a pit stop. Question is, will we see teams try to do it early and stick with their teams, or will we see a jumbled mess of guys just all coming in late and just find room where you can get it coming into the pits? Robert Duvendak now going to swap for the lead, at least as they come across the line to complete lap 22. Still not able to quite get clear in front of that 19 truck. The 88 of Billy Davison still in third, and you can see everybody given a lot more room right now. John Lynch looks like he's thinking about going 3 wide here to the inside. Can't tell who that was, but they're leaving a little bit too much room right now. And then further back, here's a lot of the trucks either involved in that first wreck. And look at this, didn't even notice, but Sam Boutwell is only currently 8 laps down now. So in that last caution, he found himself getting 2 laps back. And, you know, 8 laps is still a lot down, but you never know. We've seen crazier things at Talladega. Here's a group that's starting to fade back from the lead pack. They got to make sure that they can stay in the draft here. That's David Connell. Looks like Ryan Gomes, Robert Morrison, who does have some damage still. And the 21 of Zach Stevens, Russ Kilgore, the last man in the front pack. But as they stay 2x2 up front, still not much movement. Taking a look at that track temp since we last checked it, it's actually cooled down a little bit now. It's now 154, only a degree. You'd think the general nature is it's going to continue to cool down here. And just as I say that, it drops now to 124. So handling certainly isn't going to get worse for these guys, although I don't know how much better it's going to be as the track temp is still scorching hot. That burns the Goodyears out a lot quicker, and when it's hot, it's slick. Ronnie Morrison and the 47 of Sam Boutwell. You know, it might have worked out better for Ronnie that he was involved in that little pre-incident with Jeff Carl before the caution, and well, ultimately the big wreck later ensued, because he was able to miss it all. He's still got a clean truck and a fast pair sitting in the pits. Guy Bracco going to try to close up the gap between him and Matthew Dyer as Jeff Carl had jumped up to the top. And the 49 of Robert Dudley currently sitting on the outside line, third in line. But Robert Duvendak, he finally was able to get clear of the bottom, and sure enough, he jumps down. Matthew Dyer, who's third in line. We know how good he is on every track but a super speedway, but he hasn't got a win yet at a super speedway. Grandstand Racing, though, currently sitting second and third on the inside line. The only 2 teammates that they got in here, though, tonight, no Kenneth Redinger again. On the outside, they continue to make it work. Still haven't seen much pushing in the corner yet. That's the other thing that haven't really talked about too much here tonight. I think we'll definitely see it at the end of the race. We've seen a little bit of it now, and you know, I think if teammates get locked up, that's another instance where you'd see it. But so far, especially after that first wreck, it's more or less guys just giving each other arrow push, get really close to the truck in front of you, but you don't have to actually lock onto their bumper to maintain progress. Man, Billy Davison looks like he is dealing with a handful right now on the outside line. Saw him swerving big time. And the guy behind you here at Talladega, I mean, here's the view. Let's back this up a little further. So this is Guy Bracco in the 69. Watch when they get into the corner. And Guy, by the way, up 23 positions already from where he started. But when they dive down into the corner here, it gets a little tricky to see exactly where you're going when the trucks dip down. There you go. And so when Matthew Dyer's blocking the view a little bit, his best bet is just to try to follow and hope that he holds a steady line. Man, Billy Davison continuing to struggle up top. Just looks like the truck keeps jumping out of line on him. And it seems like he keeps getting a pretty big break right now from Robert Dudley, but at a certain point, Dudley's probably going to make him pay for it if he washes up too far and split him 3 wide. But in the turn 1, Davison's still trying to hold a steady wheel. Further back, there's the look out the front windshield for Keith Prince, and all he sees right now is Matthew Fritz in the 29. 2 more guys in the middle of this chaos, and there's the 12 truck of Haas Beverly. Not haven't had a chance to see Haas here in a little while. Good to see him out here tonight. He is down 6 from where he started. Another one of the great super speedway drivers. What can he make happen here tonight? Maybe find his first win of the season. Taking a look from the fan cam as the trucks come roaring off at turn 4 down the front straightaway at almost 190 miles an hour. And when we talk about pit stops, it seems like it'd be a pretty easy thing here at Talladega. I mean, it's a wide entry and it's straight. The problem is trucks don't like going from almost 190 miles an hour down to 55 that quick. And you got to be careful. You don't want to lock up your brakes. And when there's a lot of guys all coming down at once, it's like rush hour traffic. Everybody's trying to fight for what lane they can get into and trying to make position at the same time. A lot of times that's where we see incidents occur. You got to make sure that you get below that yellow line as soon as possible as well. Another place that you can make some contact. So it's Duvendak, and how about Albert Hewins? The new guy this season for Team Hickox Racing. And so far, a great run here tonight. Continues to lead that outside He was pushing Robert Duvendak, and once he pushed him to the lead, he got rewarded for it. Duvendak jumped to the bottom, and I think that top is going to be the place to be, assuming that that's where you're sitting, coming either to the checkered or even the stage break. The momentum here at Talladega really likes to carry on the exit of the tri-oval. And I mean, there you see it. Hewins couldn't quite get there, but the momentum started to surge on the exit of the tri-oval, and that's just because the start and finish line here is about 100 feet from exit of the tri-oval. Remember, at Daytona, it's in the middle of the tri-oval. And so that is why the outside line always seems to be just a little bit more dominant here. Richard Hurst, of course, at Daytona, a little bit of a scattered finish, but I think he would have been on the inside if it came down to a photo finish. There's David Connell, Ryan Gomes, and Zach Stevens. These three trucks, again, not sure exactly what happened. They all look clean, but right now they are sitting just over half a track behind the leaders. And as we go back towards the front, they're going to be coming up on a lap truck here. I believe it's Robert Morrison. Sure enough, it is. Yeah, he's got damage to that 43 truck. We'll see, though, if he's able to dip down in behind this draft or if he's going to lose it. I think if he loses it, it might be time to start thinking about taking that fast break. You really can't afford to go 2 laps down. I think 1 lap, maybe you're okay here. And we'll be coming to lap 30 next time, so that'll put us at 16 laps to go in stage number 2. Of course, that final stage is going to be about just under a 40-lap sprint to the finish. Be expecting at least 1 more, potentially 2. No, I'd say it'd only be 1 more pit stop in that final stage. But if we get a caution at any point from this point on here, then we would run the green flag for the rest of stage number 2 without green flag pit stops. So a little blink out back there. I think it was Jeff Carl. And Billy Davison, there it is, slotting out of line again. And I just can't tell if he's trying to cool that truck down. But hold your horses here. We're going to have our first round of pit stops. And it's going to be all the Hickox Racing drivers plus a couple more. Matthew Fritz is going to lead them in. And he's going to get followed by John Lynch, Joey Hickox. Looks like the 3 of Jay Stinson, Ronnie Morrison, and Russ Kilgore. So Albert Hewins, the only Hickox Racing driver in the field tonight that did not pit with his team. But he's out there, one of the guys leading, so I think he's going to be in just fine position. And now the race out of the pits. Have to assume here that Matthew Fritz would be able to hold on to it. Got in clean, got out clean, but no, it's going to be Joey Hickox with the speedy stop. He'll actually beat his teammate out. Jay Stinson not quite able to do so, and Jay's got a little front end damage there. Doesn't seem to be too bad, but now it's going to be the battle. First off, we got to see if these guys decide to pit this lap or continue to stay out. And are we going to get any takers this time or not? A couple of fake outs. So now the battle starts of can Hickox Racing all get lined up and try to make time up on this group before they pit and maybe come out separated with a chance to sweep stage number 2, or can this group do the same thing and try to make lap time on the guys that already pit? And we're going to go 3 wide now in the middle. That's Billy Davison behind Albert Hewins. This is where things get a little dicey. Grant Turner now, he's looking up the middle before he gets to the back bumper, the 88. And Robert Dudley now the odd man out. He's going to get shuffled to the back. And speaking of the back, if we go far enough back here, leading this battle is John Lynch. Oh, is he going to have to serve a penalty? I think he is. That's a tough break for John. I'm assuming he must, yeah, he did. Must have got an unsafe pit exit. So Ronnie Morrison is pushing Jay Stinson, who right now is the next closest guy. So these 3 right here. But the lead pack continuing to stay out as it stands. 31 of 85 laps now completed. We are going to take our first break of the night. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us at Talladega.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Pit cycles rather, still underway here. As there's a look at the 12 of Haas Beverly. He's following Keith Prince out. The other guys that came in with these two, David Traylor and Riley Gomes. But up front, still got some of your leaders who have not pitted yet, and this is going to bring in the rest of them. It looks like Robert Duvendak is going to lead them in. Question is, can they all get in clean? Matthew Dyer, Justin Parham, two Grandstand Racing drivers. And wow, Guy Bracco had a really, really good pit stop right there, that 69 truck. And then just behind these guys, looks like Albert Hewins leads a little bit of a second group. Jake Bustos, William George, the 2 truck. And it looks like, trying to figure out who else that was in here. I believe that's the 88 of Billy Davison, sure enough. And so now that they're all going to cycle out, these three, the only 3 left out. But the big question now is, how are they going to cycle out in reference to Hickox Racing? Well, let's take a look. Here they all come roaring out of the pits. And look for Hickox Racing to come roaring through the tribal. There they are. So doesn't look like they're going to be able to pass all of them. They're certainly going to get a couple of them here. But I think the guys that came in the soonest on that pit stop are going to be able to still stick with this lead draft without any issue. But I do think the strategy call for Hickox Racing was a good one. As Ronnie Morrison continues to lead, they did a good job of how they shuffled everything about. And you can see him just passing by guys right here. They're going to go by the 88 of Billy Davison. I think he'll be able to tag on. But look at this long, spread out, single file train for now. Just everybody all trying to sort it back out and catch up to the draft of the truck in front of them. And by the time they do so, it'll probably be about 5 laps or so to go. As right now, it's currently 10, going to be 9 laps to go when these 3 cross the line. And they're on the backstretch. I think these 3 are potentially playing the strategy of maybe hoping for a caution right here. Unless, of course, they're trying to stretch it on fuel. I mean, it certainly could be possible, but man, it just seems like it'd be such a long way to go that the strategy wouldn't really work out. So we'll see if they decide to pit or try to stretch it. Up top now, you can see this big pack is starting to reform into one. And we've got double file race in action. Leading the way up top is Ronnie Morrison with a push from Joey Hickox. Big move back in the little bit further back for Robert Duvendak. He got right to the top to separate that Hickox Racing duo of what was about to be Matthew Fritz and Joey Hickox. And those 3 trucks just behind this group all trying to catch up. I think they're just out of the draft right now. And Robert Dudley still out on track. 2 guys, Tyler Dudley and Riley Gomes. Tyler Dudley's on the lead lap. See Robert Morrison with that group. He is not. Riley Gomes is leading what is going to be the race for the lead as they're getting ready to lap Sam Boutwell, who I think was another guy that was trying some strategy here of just staying out, hoping maybe the caution would fly and he could pick up another lap. Unfortunately, he's going to lose it, and I think this is going to put that 47 truck back to either 9 or 10 laps down right here. Riley Gomes continuing to work the inside. Nobody's taking it 3 wide just yet, but I think Duvendak might be the first to do so. Now they're going to open up the middle. Duvendak had a chance to maybe split Joey right there, but chose to not. And that inside's going to get a little bit of a pull here off of these 2 lap trucks. I think one of them is John Lynch. But Joey Hickox continues to push Ronnie Morrison and pushed him all the way back up here while all the pit stops were cycling through, and they seem to be a pretty good duo. You see Joey just dipping out to the right, trying to keep the truck cool, and also just trying to offset the one truck a little bit so he doesn't spin him out. If you're going to hit a guy, it's going to be a little bit better to hit him in the left rear, or excuse me, the right rear than the left rear, as if you hit him in the left rear, it's going to be a little bit more likely that it just turns around, especially if it's in the corner. And make it 7 laps to go now in stage number 2. The end of lap 45, and yeah, it's going to be David Connell and the 90 of John Lynch. They're both going to move to the top. They'll be able to hang on to the back of this draft, but the 3 wide that was starting to form further back is going to quickly have to die out, as I don't think these guys really want to go 4 wide just yet. Grant Turner and Albert Hewins, they do dip down in line. And more movement in the middle of the pack is Justin Parham. He's now going to move to the top. Everybody wants to be up top. The momentum has been there for the most of the night. Robert Dudley's still out on track right now. They're going to go by the 22 now of Ryan Gomes. He'll tuck in line. You see he's got some front end damage. Not sure if that was from the first caution which he was involved in, or if that was something recent that we just didn't catch on the data. And in fact, speaking of that data, yeah, it seems like everybody's been pretty clean. All the pit road entries in general were very, very clean. It was a nice job by everybody to get into their stop and get out without making any contact. A lot of times you'll see guys come in too hot, lock up the brakes, spin out, go into the grass. Not the case so far here tonight. Joey made that diving move to the inside to get the lead. It worked well, but you see Robert Dubendak, he is the first guy that I've really noticed so far that is actually locked onto the bumper of the truck in front and really risked it with pushing as hard as he could. That's exactly what he did to the one truck of Ronnie Morrison, and it worked out really well. You saw the amount of momentum that they were able to make on that middle line, get clear of Joey Hickok's. Dubendak dropped low. It was the only guy to drop low for a minute. Parham shortly followed, but here's Grant Turner and Albert Hewins. They're trying to get the third lane working now. Haas Beverly, he likes what he sees. He's going to join, and now it's going to be Russ Kilgore on the Ford truck that tags on. Coming up on their first lap car while they're 3 wide. Ooh, Grant Turner almost makes some contact there with Jay Stinson in the 31. And how are they going to maneuver about this? You can see Grant Turner looks like he's letting off a lot of movement there. Jay Stinson. And actually now the lap truck's going to get out of the way, so Jay won't have to worry about jumping up. That's Zach Stevens in the 21 that they're going by. So now Grant Turner, Albert Hewins are going to try to regroup, see if they can make another charge at it. Ronnie Morrison still leads the middle. He's got a push from Matthew Fritz. Jay Stinson just behind him. But the inside, Robert Dubendak, Justin Parham's going to be a hard duo to stop. The question is going to be, does Parham make a move rather on him and try to jump out of line? Or does he stay here, stay patient till the stage break and see if he can't maybe have Robert Dubendak in his back pocket for the end of this thing? Dubendak, we've seen him lead a good amount of laps here tonight, especially towards the end of stage number 1 and now towards the end of stage number 2. But again, it just has seemed like the 99 has been willing to be the most aggressive guy tonight. Whenever he gets on the back bumper of somebody and has a chance to push him to the lead, he's done so in a very efficient manner. I mean, he doesn't waste any time getting up there. And Parham's another one that he likes to push, and he knows that Dubendak is going to be able to hold on to that truck no matter how hard he does push. And that's what he's going to focus on right here. Now to the outside, the one of Ronnie Morrison starting to get a little bit of a charge. Matthew Fritz ducking to the outside, thinking about 3 wide, but he realizes there's no run yet on that third lane. He's going to stay in the middle for now, waiting to see if Grant Turner can get far enough up for the 29 to make a move, and if he does the 29 make a move, or does he stay in line? 4 laps to go now at the line. Everybody in this pack good to go on fuel, but a couple of them lap trucks. John Lynch, surprised that he's actually staying up here as much as he is. He's in position to get the lucky dog, but yeah, he does unfortunately have to stay in front of Zach Stevens. And that's causing him to have to race here just a little bit. He's got to be careful, though. If they wreck, that 90 truck could be in a very, very bad position. If he gets caught up in it, he would not get the lucky dog. And he's got to feel a little bit stressed with what he's seeing out of his front windshield right now. I mean, these guys are going at it. Solid caution to end stage number 1, but so far we're staying green. Going to be coming to 3 laps to go here at the line. And at this point, actually, it would be once we cross the line. At this point, if they wreck, I believe the stage would go to the man that was leading here when the caution flies. Grant Turner now finally able to draw even with the one truck of Ronnie Morrison, but he's only got 2 trucks for help right now on the outside. Haas Beverly and Albert Hewins continue to stick with them. Russ Kilgore bailed off, so did John Lynch. And the more trucks that you have in a lane, the longer the momentum's going to hold. 3 trucks is enough to make momentum. But you got to remember, the harder they have to push, the quicker the temps are going to go up. And I think Albert Hewins is just starting to run out of temps. And if Ronnie Morrison could somehow, some way get clear, I think he would probably jump down in front of Robert Dubendak. And you can see Matthew Fritz is starting to get a little bit more and more aggressive with his pushes. And now it's going to start to become a chess game between Justin Parham and Matthew Fritz on who pushes and where do you push. If you're Parham, I think you only really push when you have to counter Matthew Fritz, in the sense that when you see him getting ready for a push, you push. But if you're Fritz, you got to be trying to push here as much as you can, as long as you have the temp to do so. And he's going to have 2 more laps now to see if he can't get that number 1 truck cleared, maybe fight for the stage win. Grant Turner making the charge back up in the 3rd lane. He's going to draw even again with the 29 truck. And if he could get maybe a little side draft off the 1 truck, that would really stall the middle. That would help the bottom and the top line. But Joey Hickox, he's trapped where he is. So is Riley Gomes, the 28 of Matthew Dyer. Nowhere to go, and they're going to be coming up on Robert Morrison while they're still 3 wide. We'll see if Robert decides to get out of the way, or if he stays exactly where he is. That could cause some trouble. He's going to go high. Now they're going to split them 4 wide. Everybody going to try to keep a nice steady wheel. So far so good. Everybody does indeed hold on. As we work our way down through the short chute into the tribal, going to be coming to take the white flag in stage number 2. Can everybody keep it clean for one more lap? Duvendak still on the inside. Morrison in the middle. Up top, it's Grant Turner. They've got a 4th truck. Russ Kilgore tagged back along. We're going to see if he can help the cause out. And now Grant Turner starting to poke a nose just ahead now of Ronnie Morrison. We'll see if there's any run to develop on the back straightaway. Oh, and you see the inside really lost the help. Joey had to back way off. Not sure if he got side drafted, had an issue or what, but that's going to stall the inside. Justin Palm pushing for all he's worth right now. So is Albert Hewins in the 55. Final time into turn 3 for stage 2. Now Duvendak is going to get back clear. We'll see if he decides to jump up. Parham has to back off. Does he have enough temps to give Duvendak one more push? Out of turn number 4, Grant Turner now starting to fade. Morrison's able to pull back even. Duvendak still on the bottom. Through the trial they come. It's going to be a drag race for the stage 2 finish. Morrison, one more push. Is it enough? It is. Ronnie Morrison wins stage 2 by 3/100ths of a second. And man, oh man, if that is any prelude to what we are going to see for the finish of this race, it is going to be a fun one. What a finish. So Morrison is going to be your official stage 2 winner. Robert Duvendak comes up just short. He'll finish second, though both of those drivers, by the way, up 22 and 19 positions from where they started. And what we're going to do is we're going to go take a commercial break. We've got to get a couple things sorted out here real quick. But when we come back, we're going to see if we can maybe get an interview with your stage 2 winner. And more when we get back. Hopefully stay with us. We'll be right back from Talladega.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Just finished the completion of stage number 2. Your stage winner, of course, Ronnie Morrison. We got him up here in the booth. Ronnie, this is Austin. You got a copy?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Well, man, a lot of aggressive racing there towards the end of stage 2, but you managed to hold on to the track position. You stayed up front, and you barely squeaked it out there at the end. What was going through your head?
I was just begging Matt to push. I was like, push me, push me.
Well, certainly look like you got a lot of speed, whether you're pushing or leading so far on the one truck here tonight. Now, stage 3 going to be a little different, of course, a little bit longer. But when we come down to the finish, we know guys maybe not going to be as friendly towards other guys as everybody wants to win. So overall, what do you think the strategy is going to be here to try to stay at the front and ultimately get the win?
Just working with your teammates. I mean, I got Jay and John and Matt, and I'm not sure who else is in the room with us, but we are just communicating every lap what's going on.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, Ronnie. Congrats on the stage 2 win, and we'll see if we're talking to you in victory lane as well tonight.
All right, thank you.
Ronnie Morrison, I didn't realize, but yeah, sure enough, he's working with some of the Hickox Racing guys here tonight. And it's a good team to have working with you here, especially when it comes to super speedways. We know how good they are over in the SS Series. Reminder that is Monday nights. Go check it out with Richard Hurst. Does a phenomenal job. And as we get ready for the green flag, yep, sure enough, lights on the pace truck going to go off. And so Sam Boutwell, he'll go take a wave around, and it's going to be Grant Turner playing a little track position strategy here. He will be leading us off. It looks like we're going to go green on lap 50. That'll put us at exactly 36 laps to go. Ronnie Morrison, your stage 2 winner, he'll line up second. Robert Duvendak back in third. Justin Parham on the outside of row 2 in fourth. The 55 of Albert Hewins is going to be fifth. Matthew Dyer in sixth. Wes Kilgore back in seventh. Riley Gomes in eighth. David Traylor in ninth. And John Bell rounding out your top 10. Appreciate everybody that's still tuning in here tonight. Looks like we got 20 viewers. Not too bad here for a Saturday night, 11 Eastern. The NOMA Truck Series at Talladega Superspeedway this week, but next week we are going to head over to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the final race of the regular season. And man, Charlotte is, well, we saw it in the All-Star race last year, of course, and it provided a lot of really good racing. And I think we're going to see much of the same this season. And then, of course, after Charlotte, we head to Atlanta for the All-Star race, New Atlanta. And then the round of 16 is going to get kicked off with Michigan, followed by Kansas. An off week on November 11th. And then for the round of 8, it's going to be Las Vegas and Chicagoland. And the championship for this season is at Texas. So with the playoffs coming up, you know that points are the thing that are on a lot of guys' minds right now. And it's Chase Greer, who's actually leading in points right now. How about the rookie? Justin Parham second, Jay Stinson third, William George fourth in points, and Matthew Fritz rounding out your top 5 in points. But you look at team owner stats, whatever you want to call it, Hickox Racing is still leading the way by a decent margin. Grandstand Racing in second, Twin Motorsports, and then SPINO Racing back and forth. I feel like would be the biggest surprise. You almost expect them to be a little bit further up than they are, especially with the fact that they have 3 wins total between the 2 drivers, Richard Hurst and John Lynch. Nonetheless, here we go. Back into the Geico restart zone. Looking for the green flag in stage number 3. 36 laps to go at Talladega. Good even start, but I think Grant Turner's going to get ahead just a little bit now. He's got to be careful. Maybe playing little games there. You saw him thinking about jumping up to try to pull Ronnie Morrison along, but Ronnie's actually going to just jump right down in line. Figured I would see that one truck stay up. Said it's going to be important to work with your teammates, but he's going to play the conservative role. And again, these guys, they can't make it the rest of the way on gas. They're going to have to pit. And that might very well be the reason that they're playing it a little bit conservative right now. Just get to the bottom, get yourself in a good position for when we have to pit, and then get racy after the fact. And the fuel window is going to open up probably somewhere right around 20 laps to go. Maybe give her, I would say to play it safe, maybe a little bit more towards 18 laps to go. So I don't think we'll see many of these guys pit till right around lap 65. And again, that would be give or take a lap or 2. But Grant Turner going to lead his first lap here of the night under green. Nope, Parham's going to squeak it out just by about 1,000th. And back in the pack, still guys that are playing it safe. Some of these guys had to use their fast repair earlier. And it's already starting to break up into 2 packs. John Lynch is leading the rookie, Chase Greer. There's Jake Bustos. The 47 of Sam Boutwell not on the lead lap. But Jay Stinson, one of the surprises that he's back here right now. But he did get some damage in that first wreck. Didn't think it was enough that he had to use a fast repair. There's the 64 of David Connell. And I'll tell you what, I think David Connell very well may have my favorite paint scheme here of just about anyone. I mean, it is a really, really good looking truck here tonight for the 64. See if we can get a couple different angles of this thing real quick. It's got the U.S. Army. It's like a blue, black, and I guess aqua. It is a good-looking truck nonetheless, though. Taking a look from the rear chase. And him and William George, I'm not 100% sure on this, but they might be teammates. Two of the guys that, again, I'm not 100% sure on, but both of them have, now I wouldn't say similar paint schemes in a sense of they look the same, but I believe they both have had U.S. Army either on or currently on tonight, the back of the truck. And there might be a little relation between that. Back up front, though, it's still Grant Turner leading the inside line. Justin Parham on the outside. Matthew Dyer doing a lot of pushing right now. Robert Duvendak on the bottom. Ronnie Morrison still third, exactly where he slid in right off the restart. And if anybody wants to go 3 wide, I think you got to do it sooner than later here in the sense of it's all going to narrow back down eventually to a single file line in time for pit stops. And if you're trying to make some track position before, then you don't want to wait till the last second, as a lot of times that's when things tend to get the most chaotic. You just can't really find room. Ooh, Matthew Fritz got off track. So did the truck just in front of him. And I believe it was, actually might have been David Traylor. I take it back. Either way, 2 bright yellow trucks in the field tonight. Hard to differentiate when they're both side by side. And now we're going to see a third lane get working here from Robert Morrison. He's trying to make some progress. He sees John Lynch, but right now the guy he's pushing is going to DB that 33 machine rather. I believe that is, I'm not sure exactly who that is here tonight. That's Robert Gray. He is on the lead lap. Robert Morrison is not. And Robert Gray, one of the new drivers this season. And he's actually up 9 from where he started. So had to start at the back, but he's slowly trying to make his way to the front. And he's got a clean truck, so if he can keep it that way, might have a chance to break into the top 10 before this race is all said and done. Grant Turner, he's got such a good pusher behind him that I don't think he's really got to worry about doing too much right now, except just hold a pretty steady wheel on the inside. Duvendak was able to push Ronnie Morrison to the lead earlier on the outside. And the 2 Grandstand Racing teammates, there's a lot of pushing going on there. I mean, we know Justin Parham's going to be able to take whatever Matthew Dyer gives him, but I am surprised that they have not been able to get clear just yet. Dyer's going to continue to push his teammate into turn number 3. Now he'll have to cool it down just a little bit. Further back, it looked like 2 of the Dudleys there were looking to see if they can get the third lane going. They're going to try to bait a third truck to go up with them. Sure enough, that's exactly what's going to be the case. Sam Boutwell further back, he's going to pull off the track. And that is the 3 of Keith Prince. We saw him in the third lane trying to go to the front earlier, had to take a fast pair. Kind of faded out of the picture for a little bit, but he's back in it now. And Guy Bracco all alone in the middle of that 69 truck. Hardest thing when you don't have help behind you is, even when you're in the draft like we see a lot of these guys right now, the problem is, without any aero push behind you, it's really hard to suck up to the truck in front. And that's exactly what Guy Bracco is continuing to experience here. But now watch as the 2 truck gets to his back bumper. Now you're going to see that 69. If he so chooses, he's going to be able to get closer to the back of Riley Gomes a lot easier. And yeah, you see it there, the 2 of Stephen Hines. He's close enough in range to give him an aero push, but I'm telling you, this third line, they're making a lot of progress as track temp continues to cool. They continue to start pushing harder and harder, now down to 116 degrees. But Justin Parham still not able to get clear. You got to wonder if, you know, him and Matthew Dyer are talking to Mike and thinking about maybe trying to split these lanes up. And if they could get Parham down to the bottom, that would give Grandstand Racing control of the bottom and the middle lane. But Keith Prince, as he continues to claw his way to the front, seems like that run really stalls out in the corner. Makes a lot of progress down the straightaways, and you see in the back of it, John Lynch and Joey Hickox, they're trying to get back to the front after pitting. Hickox Racing, you know they feel like they've got to put one of their drivers in victory lane here tonight. And I feel like if you had to ask them, they really would like to see it be Albert Hewins. And we have seen Albert at the front a few times here tonight, not currently there now though. And Guy Bracco moving around just a little bit in the pack, and this is where things start to get tight. We saw this towards the end of stage number 1 throughout stage number 2. And we're seeing it again right here, that 3 truck of Keith Prince. The closer he gets to the front, the harder he's going to have to try to side draft to maintain it. Justin Parham, though, with his teammate, those 2 still doing a great job. Matthew Dyer managing temps very, very well. Actually, let's ride on board real quick with that 28 truck. Taking a look at the dashboard speeds here. So far, so good. He's going to try to give his teammate a little push, but a big run on the outside line. It's going to be enough to get Keith Prince clear. Question's going to be, will he take it? Dudley's starting to follow. He's not clear. Oh, that was a close call. Now is he going to get split 4 wide? 15 truck cuts him a break. So does Joey Hickox. Man, that could have ended in disaster right there for the 49. Almost came down. What he got right there was a little bit of tunnel vision. Keith Prince was making that transition down to the middle line so slowly that when you have a guy like Robert Dudley who was locked onto his bumper, I think he thought that Keith may not have even been moving. He was only able to realize when he probably either heard Justin Parham's engine pretty loud, or maybe he felt some contact or saw the 19 in his mirror. But that could have been really, really bad. That could have took out some trucks for this race, as we'd already saw the big one once here tonight, and we almost saw the second one. John Lynch, Joey Hickox continue to scramble for positions, but right now they do not look very organized. The pack as a whole, that is. 190 miles an hour is still top speed as they get into turn 3, but they're going to have to figure out a way to get around Sam Boutwell here as they are 3. They're going to have to split him 4 wide right here. Robert Dudley didn't look like he really wants to, and sure enough, he's going to bail out of it. Drops to the inside instead. They're going to go 3 wide around him. And man, I know that was the safe choice, but that cost him a lot of time right there. This is exactly what guys up front want to see, and now that's going to give Parham and Dyer a chance to cool down as they don't have to contend with any third lane anymore. Watch for Dyer to poke that right side out just a little bit through turns 1 and 2, exactly as he does right here. Just getting any attempts that he can to the front of that truck. On the inside, oh man, Keith Prince was getting pushed up the track right there by Grant Turner. He was able to hold on to it. Trucks like to get a little bit tight if you're pushing hard enough through the corner. But another big push from Matthew Dyer cannot get Justin Parham clear. Now Grant being the lead pusher, he's doing a good job. Ducks out a little bit to the left through the turn, trying to get some cool air to the front grille. But before things get too chaotic, as we're going to be coming up here on 25 laps to go in just a couple laps, how about a little crank it up from the biggest track in NASCAR? Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy up front. Justin Parham, now your leader. Matthew Dyer kept trying, and he was finally able to get his teammate clear the inside, and Parham took full advantage of it. That has surrendered the lead now on the outside to the 28 of Matthew Dyer. But the third lane, they keep trying it out. Everybody wants to lead it. Problem is, nobody really wants to be the pushers in it. Now we're going to see Joey Hickox make a decision here. John Lynch all by himself right now. William George, a guy who's great on just about every track we've been to, but tonight has not been a great night yet for the 96. He's been hanging around inside the top 15, top 20, but he really hasn't got up inside the top 5 for much, if any, part of this race. And I think now he's finally starting to realize it might be go time. Maybe he was just trying to save his fast repair earlier. But up front, those two Grandstand Racing teammates, they are going to be a hard group to get around, especially when you look at the pushers that they got behind them. Riley Gomes and Keith Prince. And with that, I would look to see maybe Dubendak be the guy to take it 3 wide, but I don't think he necessarily is going to. And I think that's because the fuel window is coming up here, and probably about 3 to 4 laps. And we saw Hickox Racing pit pretty early in stage 2 as soon as the window opened, and it worked out pretty well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them try to go with the same strategy, especially since they're all kind of mixed in and buried in this pack. Going a little bit further back, Russ Kilgore, he's in the mix. So is John Bell. I mean, the lead pack is still big. We have not dropped off a lot of trucks through this run so far. Jake Bustos, the last guy, so it's a 26 truck lead pack. And you go back here to Ryan Gomes. He's in the lead pack. So is Dave Connell, John Lynch, and Robert Morrison. Only problem is that they are a lap down. Sam Boutwell still multiple laps down, just out here trying to get whatever points he can and have some fun. I mean, Talladega is such a fun track to run at. It's the only track where you feel like, you know, whatever happens is out of your control if you wreck, but you can really push guys, make moves that you can't make on other tracks. Just a lot of fun overall. Gomes tried to see if he could get Dyer clear there into turn 3. He's going to peek up top, try to cool that truck down. That's going to allow Justin Parham again to surge back up. And you're going to see everybody start to slowly, as each lap goes by, I think you're going to see more and more of them start to slowly try to transition down to the bottom line, at least if they're planning on pitting early. I mean, there goes one. You see William George. He's going to jump right down in front of John Bell. That's going to break up the outside. Will cause some momentum shifts and maybe allow some of these other trucks to jump down to the bottom as well now. Stephen Hines in the 2 truck, currently sitting the 5th truck back on the outside, and that little bit of momentum shift caused the inside to get a big surge of momentum. Keith Prince is clear up if he wants it right here. Does he want to take the risk, though, of trying to get one more spot of track position? He doesn't, and I think that's a wise choice by the rookie. If you are any one of these guys in the top 5 on the inside, anywhere from Hewins, Morrison, Turner, or up, I think you stay on the inside as you're going to be in a great position here to be the leaders once you decide to come down for your pit stop. And as we cross the line here to take 20 laps to go, this is the lap that I would say the fuel window first opens at. And we'll see if anybody decides to pit this time. I wouldn't think that's the best choices. Again, you're going to want to have some fuel for overtimes if we need them. Yeah, I'm going to say there's a chance that we need them. Things just get way too chaotic at the end of these races for us to not have to use any of them. But that pit stop, if we can get to it, it is going to mix a lot of things up, switch a lot of guys around. And sometimes that actually can decrease the chance for a caution, as there's a big push for Riley Gomes. That'll get Dyer clear of his teammate, and he will jump down, I would have to assume. The pit stop's coming up in a lap or 2, maybe trying to bring Gomes with him. He's not going to be able to do it, but yep, sure enough, wise choice there for the 28 truck. Matthew Dyer, he jumps down in front of Justin Parham. And those two, you know they're going to come together as a group for the pits. And we'll see if they maybe lead everybody else down or if they try to come in with just those 2 trucks. Usually want to come down with at least 3 or more. Probably 4, to be honest. But as we now hit 19 laps to go, the alarm is on which lap are these guys going to pit. Oh man, Guy Bracco slid down the track through the banking there. That was close. Almost got into the side of Keith Prince. Further back, some more 3-wide action here as everybody's trying to still find their spots in line. And that is the 22 truck, who I believe is not on the lead lap. Actually, that's Ryan Gomes. And Gomes is currently a lap down, seeing if he can't get back either in lucky dog position or get his lap back the hard way. And that's why we're seeing so much battling still on this outside, is because you do have a lot of lap trucks that are all fighting for one lucky dog position if the caution were to fly in. Since we haven't seen many cautions tonight, you got to get them where you can. Here we go. First groove down to the pits. It's going to be led by William George. Ronnie Morrison, we got one spun out back, and that's going to turn Matthew Fritz into his teammate. Jay Stinson gets collected. And a disastrous stop now for Hickox Racing at 2 of the 3 teammates involved. And it was actually not William George who I thought came down. A similar scheme color-wise, but it was actually Ronnie Morrison who let him down. And man, oh man, that is big trouble right there. Let's go see if we can take a look real quick at what happens here. By the way, this was Robert Gray. Meant to show this just a bit ago here. This was in the tri-oval. This was trying to make down to the pit speed. I think Gray trying to miss. Ooh, yeah. So Gray was trying to miss a spinning Jeff Carl. Ooh. Still trying to save it here. And he actually comes down the track. Luckily, everybody misses him. Heads up driving by Chase Greer. But the worst of this is going to come in right around Jeff Carl. Let's back this up. So I think he gets hit here. The question was, did he get off in time? Or was it a late decision that gets him in trouble? So there's the 98, and yeah, I mean, he puts on the brakes before he gets down. You can't do that. It's a big no-no here. That's where you get problems on the pits. Show you from the cockpit view what it looks like here. Yeah, so the 98 decides he wants to pit. I mean, I'm assuming here. See the field, everybody bails down unless he thought they were wrecking. But yeah, just bails out of the throttle. It was weird. It didn't look like he ever really turned down, but yeah, you get out of the throttle on a hot track like that, and poor Billy Davison and them, they just had nowhere to go. And we'll back that up one more time for you here and show you from TV follow. And that's where this is going to cause all the chaos here. So when he slows down, yeah, Billy just nowhere to go. Tags him, sends the 98 up the track. He comes back down, clobbers Matthew Fritz in the back. Then he hits the inside wall. Fritz goes into the grass, and then he gets into Jay Stinson. And my fear there for Jay was, although he saved it, to give him a speeding penalty. Caution is out. Caution is out. And you got to wonder if this was... Actually, this may have flew during the thing, and I didn't even recognize it. I think the yellow flag is going to be, yeah. So sure enough, this yellow flag was as a result of all this chaos right here. And it may more or less have been of Robert Gray when he actually had slid through the grass. That's what brought it out. More or less, actually, I take that back. When he got back up on track right here. Now I'm curious. Let's see if we can find the exact moment of caution here. Keep a look at all the lights and looking for the flagman. In fact, the beauty here at Talladega is we can just go to the flag stand and see when he pulls out that caution flag. Nothing yet. And still nothing. And there it is. Caution finally flies right about here. And at that point, everybody had spun out and was off track, but still in the grass. So it may have been an admin thrown caution. Nonetheless, it's a caution. It's the third one here of the night, and now it is going to make things extraordinarily chaotic because everybody that comes in now, they will be good to go on fuel at least the rest of the way and probably for one, maybe two overtimes. But as it stands, Joey Hickox is being scored as your leader. Ronnie Morrison in second, Stephen Hines in third, Robert Dubendak fourth, Riley Gomes in fifth, Grant Turner sixth, Keith Prince seventh, Robert Dudley in eighth, Guy Bracco in ninth, and Jeff Carl currently rounding out your top 10 after being involved in that last incident. And as they all come off the pits, get sorted out, see if we get the one to go signal next time. We are going to take another quick break. We'll be back. Stick with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway for the H&H Tractor Works 225. Second to last race before the end of the regular season. And your current leader for what could potentially be the final restart, although I have to doubt it. We know how crazy these things get at the end, and 15 laps to go with everybody being good on fuel. I think there's a couple more cautions in the schedule here. But nonetheless, it is Joey Hickox leading the way. Ronnie Morrison's going to be leading that outside line Duvendak back in third, Stephen Hines in fourth, and Grant Turner rounding out your top five. Nancy Hickok says, Dad, burn it. And then says, who got the lucky dog? And looking back actually here, it looks like it was John Lynch in the 90 truck, unless he got it. He might have got it the natural way. I'm going to say for now, though, it was John Lynch, as it looks like he's the only guy that I know of that was a lap down in that last stint that is now back on the lead lap. And of course, a lot of guys couldn't really stay out even if they wanted to, because they needed to top off to make sure they were good to go on fuel for the rest of the way. That lucky dog battle will still be fierce. Pace truck makes the hard left turn. The field now in the hands of Joey. Robert Duvendak behind him. That is a very fast duo of trucks on the inside. But what can Stephen Hines and Ronnie Morrison do on the outside? Hickox Racing right now currently has that first row entirely locked up. And you know we're going to see 3 wide. The question more or less is going to be, how soon do we see it? The disaster is probably going to strike sooner or later. Question's going to be when. Green flag is back in the air. 14 laps to go at Talladega. Good jump for Joey Hickox. You see he's got a little bit of damage on the right door of that 3 truck. Don't think it's going to affect him too bad, though, as Robert Duvendak creeping up to his back bumper now. Joey's going to have to be real careful here. That outside's going to have a big run. The question is, will anybody try to jump up to leave him? Duvendak's got a run here. Does he think about trying to block the outside? He's not. He's going to stay committed to Joey right here. Now there's the run for Robert Morrison and Stephen Hines. It's going to draw him even with that 3 truck down the backstretch as they race into turn number 3. Going back a little bit further in the pack, Riley Gomes. There's the 3rd lane. I was just getting ready to note that Riley Gomes might be the guy to do it, but it's actually going to be Chase Greer and Zach Stevens. And you know what? If you're Chase Greer, I don't blame you. You're leading in points. And ironically enough, he doesn't have a win yet this season. And that shows you just how consistent he's been. So yeah, if you're that 40 truck, get up here and go for it. See if you can't get that first win of the season. Continue to stretch that points lead out. In worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. And how about the guy, William George, said he wasn't having a great night up to this point. He's ready to go to the front, looking 3 wide. We'll see who else decides to jump out here. Guy Bronco, no move yet. The 69 has been fast here tonight. Will he try to see if he can lead some laps now? Not going to make the move, so William George continues to charge. More movement has got everybody looking to get up to the middle and then eventually the top line. That was Jay Stinson moving from the bottom to the middle. And now Keith Prince, he jumps out of line. That gives Riley Gomes no help. You almost would have to think he jumps up. And the more guys that jump up, it's actually hurting the momentum of this middle line, as they just don't have anybody to really stick with them. But Stephen Hines continues to do a good job on the back bumper of Ronnie Morrison, keeping him at the front. Robert Duvendak is holding Joey Hickox at bay up front as well for now as well. And man, I said as well there way too many times. 12 laps to go now at Talladega. Keith Prince going to draw even here with Riley Gomes down the backstretch. Look for another big run. And you see it from TV Follow. It's going to require 2 trucks actually getting bumper to bumper. And you see the outside, the run's there, but it's just not really developing all that fast. Now, once William George gets to his back bumper, you see they start to make some more progress there on the latter half of the back straightaway. Ronnie Morrison, he gets clear. Will he take it from Joey here? He doesn't. That's going to cause a little bit of a stack up now as Steven has to check up to try to let him back down in line. Here's the surge of momentum. Keith Prince looking to make his way to the front. He's not going to have to worry about getting blocked by anybody. Can Keith Prince, the rookie, find his first win at Talladega Superspeedway here tonight? Joey Hickox still on the bottom. Robert Duvendak still in tow. Prince and Hines up top. And I think if you're Ronnie here, you might do a good decision and jump into the bottom next time you get clear. Steven has got to be cooking under the hood of that 2 truck right now. And if we see a blow up in the pack at this point, it would be disastrous with how hard these guys are racing. And there's a look from the blimp cam. Going to be coming to 10 laps to go this time. And all bets normally are off probably with 5 laps to go, but these guys have already fanned out 3 wide. We saw them try 4 wide earlier. It didn't work out too well, but it could potentially be an option here late in the going. Gonna see another truck jump up to the top. Couldn't tell who it was further back. Might have been William George. Yeah, sure enough. He's the guy currently pushing second on that 3rd line. The 3 of Keith Prince almost gets clear. But yeah, you can tell that Stephen Hines, he just had to back that middle line off a bit. Had to really cool the truck down. That caused Ronnie Morrison to slip up just a little bit. And as they have faded back, it's continued to get Keith Prince closer and closer to being clear. But nobody's been switching lanes here. In terms of at the front, I would expect Keith Prince, he's got to drop down here when he gets clear. Now, you would think William George would be screaming it at him, but again, he's not going to be able to get clear this time now. Track temp has continued to drop. It is now at less than 110 degrees. Handling continuing to pick up, speeds continue to pick up, and it's letting that inside start to perform more and more. Robert Duvidak looked like he thought about going up to the middle there. I'm not sure if he was trying to bring Joey with him or just was looking to cool the temps off, but he was not clear, so he had to drop back down in line. Make it 9 laps to go. Still 3x3, everybody at the back. Your bet's kind of made at this point. You're either going to have to stay at the back and hope there's a big wreck, or get right in the middle of this mess and probably be in the big wreck. Richard Hurst got the win at Daytona. Not here tonight, so you know he's not going to go back-to-back. The question is just more or less who is going to win at Talladega here tonight. Keith Prince, now he gets clear and he makes the move. Keith Prince now out in charge as he drops to the middle. We'll see if he decides to drop to the bottom. He's clear for now if he takes it, but he is going to continue to roll the middle. I like the decision by the rookie. You know, there's going to be a little bit more momentum there for now, but I'd like to see him drop in front of Joey, and I would say about a lap or so if he gets clear. Try to use all the temp out of both of those trucks. First out of Ronnie Morrison and then out of Joey. And now William George up top looking to make a move with 8 laps to go. He's got some momentum, and he's got a big push right now from the rookie Chase Greer, 55 of Albert Hewins. 4th truck up top just behind Zach Stevens. He's another guy looking for his first win of the season. We got one in the wall out back. Couldn't tell who it was. Might have been Sam Boutwell. No, it's going to be the 64 of David Connell. And he's going to roll off the wall, but that was heavy damage to that truck, it looked like. Let's back that up and take a look. 64 is in line right here. All looks well, and then somebody just washed up. Oh, he actually comes down a little bit, gets into Haas Beverly, and that sends 64 up into the wall. Man, lucky that wasn't a lot worse than certainly could have been. As we go back to the front, the 2-3 trucks drag racing it out to the line. William George, is he going to get clear? He's got it for a second, but he doesn't take it. George still leading the 3rd lane. Now he's going to drop to the middle. He's got to be careful. Is he going to get split? Chase Greer cuts him a big break, and now the rookie's causing a stack up on the back. They all save it again. Chase Greer, I don't know how he kept from turning William George. You saw a little bit of hesitation out of the 96. And when we saw that earlier in the race, it caused the big one. This time, though, it doesn't. But what it does do is really hurt the momentum on that outside line. This gives Stephen Hines a chance for just a split second to jump up. He doesn't take it, but Ronnie Morrison he jumps up now. He's got to have to block a little bit of a run from William George. Man, I'll tell you what, it's a ticking time bomb right now. There is no way these guys make it to the white flag. A lot of shuffling going on. Grant Turner now 3rd on the inside. Duvidak gets clear again, but I think at this point he is committed to sticking to Joey's back bumper for the rest of the way. Joey Hickok's 1 win on the season, looking to go back-to-back here tonight, be the first of his teammates to get their 2nd win on the season here tonight. And Zach Stevens made a little bit of contact there with the top lane. Ronnie Morrison, who's now getting a push from William George, they're going to start to make a surge of momentum again, as George is going to have fresh temps compared to what the 2 truck of Stephen Hines has, who's been pushing Keith Prince here for about the last 5 laps or so. And now both trucks going to get clear, but Stephen Hines is the first one to make the move. He's going to dump Keith Prince off. Keith Prince staying in the middle line. He must feel pretty comfortable there. William George making another charge. That is going to bury Joey Hickok's now 2nd in line. If he can get clear, though, you know that 3 truck is going to jump right back up to the middle. Justin Parham, now the lead pusher in the middle. We'll see, can he maybe get clear and try to make a move? 5 laps to go at Talladega. Still got 4 before we're going to get there, but if we can make it to the white flag, then this race would be official. Still door-to-door action. Everybody, all the push has gone to shove at this point in the race. And take a look at the speeds now. Watch as they get down the back straightaway here up front. Keith Prince is going to get a big push right here from Justin Parham. 100 and almost 90 miles an hour as they get down into turn 3 as he didn't sputter, but 192 on the top line for Ronnie Morrison. Man, almost an offset push there. William George is doing all he can to manage temps while trying to keep that 1 truck up and in contention. Let's take a ride on board in the middle of all the chaos right here. How about the middle line? Matthew Fritz in the 29. He's seeing all of it. John Lynch, remember, he got the lap back, and now he's in the middle of the chaos as well, seeing if he can't get up here and try to get a win. There's the onboard cam. Just has to hold a nice and steady wheel as they're 3 wide. Nowhere you can go. I mean, if you're John Lynch at this point, you're just hoping that they don't wreck in front of you, and if they do, it's going to be holding the throttle down and hoping you can find the magical lane where the seas part. And you can see they are coming up on a lap truck right here. There's Stephen Hines, the view right now from your leader. And the lap truck of Sam Boutwell, who's going to choose to go to the top. I don't know about that move right now. I would have maybe got off the track, but that 47 staying high. These guys aren't going to be able to bail out of it now. Ronnie Morrison and William George, they clear to the middle. They go 4 wide out back. So far, everybody's getting around it. Now Boutwell makes contact with the wall. Does everybody else get around him? It looks like they do. And oh man, William George, it's not going to work. Big wreck in the tri-oval. This is going to be the second big one tonight. Everybody's piling in. And we have got mayhem. It's a parking lot out of the tri-oval. And I think only about 3 or 4 trucks actually got through this one. You saw George. They were in an awkward spot. He wasn't quite clear. He started to come down and man, oh man. 4th caution of the night, and this is going to be the one that potentially ends quite a few guys' night. Comes with 3 laps to go. We almost made it, but the racing was just way too aggressive to quite make it to the white flag, and this is going to send us into our first overtime of the night. And the list of trucks with either terminal or any sort of damage continues to add up. Let's go back and take a look. That's a tough break, too, for Joey and a lot of these guys who look like they were going to have a shot to win, but not anymore. All right, so here we go. Back it up. After all the chaos here, now George initially got clear, so let's see how he gets stuck back up top. Going from the chopper view, that's Keith Prince behind him, and ooh, Prince was following the back bumper. I'm not sure if he got a little shot here from Prince. Watch this slowly. He almost follows. Yeah, I think he follows Ronnie Morrison up, and as he does so, that allows Keith Prince to sneak to the inside. Keith has Justin on his bumper, so he can't really check up here. And he's going to try to just go ahead and split him, but Parham's trying to tuck back down. Excuse me, not Parham. George is trying to tuck back down in line, and it's just not quite going to work. They make slight contact, and that is going to send William George down into Joey Hickox. Dumendak them nowhere to go. He slides up into Ronnie Morrison, and now the chaos is on. Watch the guys that get involved in this one. Big hits everywhere. Tyler Dudley looks like he was trying to sneak through. And there's Justin Parham coming to a stop. I mean, this wreck collected just about everyone. Let's take a look from the restart view. George got tagged. You see the back of the truck lift up. Now, not everybody got horrible damage from it. Joey Hickox certainly did. Jeff Carl sliding in at the end. There's Sam Boutwell, the 74 of Jake Bustos, the 3 of Keith Prince getting it turned around. So is William George. And got a couple trucks coming in late. I think that's Robert Morrison. He's going to go around this without any incident. And let's take a look at this from a couple of the other guys' view. Here's out of the gearbox for Keith Prince. Man, he got tagged a couple times too. A couple hard shots. And man, was that Justin Parham on the inside wall? I mean, he absolutely clobbered it. The entire front and side fenders of that truck are gone. Here's a view of it. Man, that was a hard hit for Parham. Watch this. Gets sent to the inside, and that wall comes up quick. Bam! Shoots him right back out onto the track. And that'll probably end the 19's night. It won't end it, actually. I believe he does have a fast pair, so I'm going to take that back. It will end a couple of these guys tonight, though, that were involved in that early caution. And then here's the view from Justin Parham's cockpit. And man, he almost snuck around. It just gets turned at the end and trying to turn it back. There's everybody else sliding in. Tyler Dudley, I talked about, I don't think he got too much damage from this. In fact, he's being scored in 5th, so I would certainly assume that's the case. Here's what the 15 saw. He sees the wreck, trying to find a gap, checking up a little bit. Ooh, does make some contact with Matthew Fritz. But then after that, the seas are going to part, and he makes it through the rest of it. And you know, honestly, I think if he gets on the brakes there a little bit, he might not have even hit Matthew Fritz. Got through it completely without any damage, but I don't think it's too bad. So I think that's going to be the last wreck that we get out of our system here, at least before the white flag here tonight. These guys have done a great job. I mean, overall, 4 cautions for an 85-lap race at Talladega. Phenomenal. I mean, you're averaging a caution more than 20 laps apiece. So there's definitely been a lot of green flag racing tonight. We've seen a green flag stop in both stage 2 and this final stage. And now all pressure and all eyes are going to be on Stephen Hines. Can he get his first win? He's up 26 from where he started tonight. And he is currently leading the way here for the overtime number 1. Zach Stevens in 2nd. Riley Gomes in 3rd. Chase Greer in 4th. Tyler Dudley back in 5th. Billy Davis in 6th. Jeff Carl 7th. David Traylor 8th. Jay Stinson back inside the top 10 in 9th. And Robert Gray is the man rounding out your top 10. And I'll tell you what, if you're Stephen Hines, I know he has got to be really, really nervous right now. See if we can get a quick word with him and see how he's feeling about the nerves. Hey, Steven, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I know you're getting ready to go back green, but you're looking for your first win of the season here. How are you going to be able to manage the nerves and hold on for it?
Man, I'm just going to try not to get spun, to be honest.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've seen... Go ahead. I was going to say, we saw different momentum for the lines here tonight. Do you stick to the bottom, or are you going to think about jumping to the top right here?
I say the top seemed pretty fast, but I had really success on the bottom, so I might just stay down here, depending on how it goes, see on the restart.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on you. Hey, one of the rookies here this season. You could get your first win here tonight. Fastest track in NASCAR. Good luck.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, sir.
There's Stephen Hines. And I'll tell you what, he doesn't sound too nervous. I think he might have a good shot at wrapping this thing up right here. But, man, so much chaos on the last lap. Could be a wreck. Could see a photo finish. Or anything in between. All right, here we go. Pace truck's going to pull off. It's going to be a 2-lap shootout if we get to the white. Race will be official. If not, rack them up and do it again. Into the restart zone we go. 2 laps to go at Talladega. The green flag is back in the air. It's a good restart for Stephen Hines, but Riley Gomes, he's got a little bit of damage. And Stephen Hines, hopefully he didn't get a penalty there. I don't know if he went a little bit early. Either way, though, he quickly jumps up in front of the 21 of Zach Stevens. A lot of damaged trucks up here. You got to wonder how this is going to affect some of these guys such as Chase Greer, Tyler Dudley, as they try to make their way to the front. And Greer still sticking behind that 21 of Zach Stevens. How long is he going to stay there? Further out back, everybody's starting to fan out 2 and 3 wide. Now we're going to see Jay Stinson. He's going to make a lunge to the outside. He'll get a big push now from Robert Dubendak. Into turn 3. Look for the 31 truck. Oh, we got a couple washing up. I'm going to see another wreck. 74 down into traffic. Jake Bustos. And they're all going to pile in behind. Grant Turner's in it. The 33 involved. And it looks like the 96 of William George with nowhere to go. Albert Hewins down in the grass. Oh, and 55, he does have damage. But Jake Bustos, I think he got the worst of this. Go back and take a look. You saw the contact right there. Actually, let's go to where this happens. You saw the contact there start with, I believe it was Jay Stinson. And I'm trying to tell who it was with. It might have been Jake Bustos. No, it's going to be Jeff Carl. All right, so here we go. Take a look from the TV follow cam as they get into 3 right here. You see Carl and Bustos wash up the track. Now, I'm not sure what initially caused them to wash up. I'm not sure if the 74 either got a push or maybe gave a push. Here's Jake in the black truck. Yeah, just a little bit of an odd look. There was no big checkups, but yeah, the 74 and the 98. I mean, the 74, okay, so what it looks like it actually happens is the 74 slightly hits the 98, but it gets him offset right here. You see, he hits him in the right rear, and I think that turns the 98 up, and the 74, of course, along with him. They make some contact, but they initially save it. The problem is, as Jake's still trying to gather it up, Robert Dudley is now there. He tries to shoot the gap. And once the 74 comes back down, they make contact, and now it is on from there. Watch how quick this gets ugly. 74 back up the track. Duvendak, unfortunately doesn't quite sneak by. He gets turned around just barely. Not sure how much damage he gets, but he does spin here, and oh yeah, they're going to all pile in. And the 74 gets absolutely hammered. Grant Turner, William George. And you got to think that this one, especially after the last wreck we just saw, is probably going to eliminate a couple more. Take a look from the fan cam here. And man, that 74, he got pretty high in the air. Heck, we can even see it from our restart cam. Let's ride on board, though, here with Robert Duvendak. I was taking a look. Initially, I thought he got clobbered, but after the initial spin, he may not have gotten hit anymore, which would be a pretty big deal for this 99 truck, as he wouldn't have had to use a fast spur if he has one still. So you see he gets spun. So far, so good. Spins down into the grass, and yeah, it seems like everybody's able to miss him. So Robert Duvendak's only going to have a little bit of damage in his left rear. He'll be able to get back out on track as we take one more final view of it here. And all that secondary contact was what really hurt a lot of guys. Seems like that's been the case for quite a few of the wrecks here tonight. There's been the initial wreck, but the bigger impacts almost seem to come about 5 seconds after the wreck starts, with the group that's kind of catching and coming into the wreck. And so it's going to put us in overtime number 2. As you remember earlier, we'll pull it up for you on the race info. 3 green-white checkers here tonight and 70% fuel. And both of those things could be a little bit relevant because some of these guys in the front, you have to wonder on how they were looking with fuel. And then again, if you don't have a fast spray, you'd be in trouble. But we have 2 more green-white checkers to try to get this thing wrapped up. And if we, of course, get a caution on that third one, and the race would be official, we'd end under caution. But I'm thinking these guys are going to get it settled down and get it figured out right here. As we look at the list of guys that are currently on the pits, Robert Dudley on back. And that's 19th on back. Some of them just topping off on fuel, getting damage repairs. But certainly a lot of guys with damage here late in the race. And I hate to have to do it, but I'm going to need another drink of water for this finish. So we're going to take another break here as we get the 1-to-go signal. We'll be back for the restart here at Talladega. Stay with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready to wrap up the H&H Tractor Works 225 for the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays. Getting ready for overtime number 2. Leading the field back to green is going to be Zach Stevens and Chase Greer. Can one of the rookies get their first win of the season right here? Back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. Both trucks with a little bit of damage, and I think that's part of the reason that we're going to see Chase immediately jump down. 21 could be a sit and duck right here. He's going to have a big push of momentum behind him, and there you go. Chase Greer is immediately going to jump back to the top. Tyler Dudley, though, stays on the bottom, and he gets to the 21, but I think that aero damage is just going to cost the 21 a little bit too much. The 2 of Steven Hines now on the top, trying to give a big push to the rookie Chase Greer. They are going to go flying by that inside line. Still no momentum as the inside just continues to check up. Tyler Dudley and David Traylor nowhere to go, and where's the run for Robert Duvendak coming from? On the outside with Joey Hickox. 2 trucks show, and they're looking to get to the front. Chase Greer is going to get split down the middle now, and now the 98 of Jeff Carl is going to get turned. Can he save it? He does for the moment. Back up into traffic. Some more contact out back. Everybody holds on. And into the travel we go. White flags in the air. Can we make it a little bit farther to make the race official? Sure enough, we do. 1 lap to go at Talladega. Can Duvendak hold on for his first win of the season? And remember, Duvendak stayed very committed to Joey Hickox the last time these two worked together. Duvendak was the pusher. Not the case this time. Joey says, no, thank you. I want to win myself. He's going to jump to the high side, waiting for a push, though. There's just no help there. Robert Duvendak still on the bottom with Stephen Hines. Can Stephen Hines maybe get clear and look for a shot at winning it? Down the back stretch they go for the final time. Third lane being led by Haas Beverly. He's trying everything he's got left to see if he can get up there. Watch for Morrison to jump up top to see if he can go. All Chase Greer and Joey Hickox, the only two on the outside right now. The bottom more formed up. But if Jay Stinson could find a way to help his teammate right now, he's going to get turned out back. It's going to come down to a 2 versus 2 truck tandem down to the line. Inside versus outside. Now Hines looks to the middle. He's going to turn Duvendak. It's going to be no contest. Joey Hickox wins it at the line. Stephen Hines finishes in second. And oh man, heartbreak for Robert Duvendak. As man, oh man, looked like it was going to be a drag race. And instead it ends in chaos and probably some tempers here. Not sure if Duvendak, I couldn't tell actually what initially happened. It looked like he got turned obviously, but not sure if he went up when Hines was there or if Hines wasn't there and came down. But Duvendak looks like he's, see if he's got anything to say to him here as he goes by. And nope, just going to continue on, mind his merry way. But how about it? Joey Hickox gets the job done. Adds on the 4th win of the season for Hickox Racing. And the 2nd one, of course, for himself this season. He comes around to burn it down. Let's take a look at your finishing results here tonight. Again, we'll still be taking a look at the finish and more. But starting with your results, Joey brings home the win. Stephen Hines finishes 2nd. Guy Bracco in 3rd. Russ Kilgore in 4th. Robert Duvendak rounds up 5th. Albert Hewins in 6th. Chase Greer in 7th. Riley Gomes in 8th. David Traylor in 9th. Zach Stevens rounding edge top 10. Jeff Carl 11th. Ryan Gomes in 12th. Keith Princeton 13th. John Lynch in 14th. Matthew Dyer finishes in 15th. Robert Morrison in 16th. Haas Beverly 17th. Jay Stinson in 18th. Grant Turner in 19th. Tyler Dudley in 20th. Billy Davison 21st. Matthew Fritz 22nd. Robert Dudley 23rd. William George 24th. Robert Gray 25th. Jake Bustos 26th. Ronnie Morrison in 27th. Sam Boutwell 28th. Justin Parham 29th. David Connell in 30th. And John Bell running out the field tonight. He finishes up in 31st. So as Jay continues to burn down here, it looks like we've got a lot of burnouts going on here. Albert Hewins, Matthew Fritz. I mean, hey, you win at Talladega, you gotta feel like you can do whatever you want, right? So as these guys continue to burn it down and celebrate, man, they got quite the smoke show going on. I can't even see the 3 truck or the 29 truck. And man, oh man, let's go back and take a look at this finish. Ultimately decided your winner, Joey Hickox. Initially looked like it was going to be a photo finish. Back here, looks like, is that Guy Bracco? I think he's going to try maybe to split the C's here, go 3 wide. There's going to be some contact between Jay and Guy. Jay maybe creeping up a little bit. Not sure if there was a hole there at all, though. Couldn't tell. Nonetheless, these guys make contact, sends Jay up, and then everybody trying to get through it. There's going to be more wrecking here. But then this is where it gets a little interesting. Right here, when Stephen Hines jumps out of line, I was really surprised to see this move. And yeah, it looks like Duvendak's trying to get up to block it, and he just made contact, turns it around, and sends Chase Greer hard into the outside wall. And it's a tough break for Chase because he was going from what would have been a 4th place finish back to a 7th place finish as it destroys that 40 truck. And then with that, Joey Hickox was able to come across the line uncontested here. Take a look from the chopper view. And, you know, Stephen Hines, again, talked about one of the rookies here. Had a great chance here tonight a couple times, but I think right here, you know, with the scenario, and it's so hard to just say it up here in the booth with what's going on around you and how quick things are happening. I think he's almost better in this scenario to just stay behind Robert Duvendak and try to push him. I mean, with what it looks like from there, I don't really see him actually gaining a position. Even if he gets to the middle, You know, Joey's probably going to stay up there with Chase because he's got to push. And, you know, I mean, if he gets there, maybe he side drafts, maybe somehow is able to pull one more position. But, you know, if he stays behind Duvendak instead, maybe able to push Duvendak to a win. And even if not, have a friend for later in the season if you need one. But Duvendak does try to get up to block it and just a little bit too late on it. Probably wasn't expecting that move. I certainly wouldn't have been. And then there's the margin of victory for your race winner, Joey Hickox. Just go up a little bit with that. And there it is, as close as we can get at least. And not too much contest from behind. I think the margin of victory was probably about 2 truck lengths. Yep. 0.2 of a second. And either way, we're going to go talk to your top 3, see what they have to say after a crazy night at Talladega. Stick with us. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Going to talk to your third place finisher, first podium of the season for Guy Bracco. Guy, you got a copy?
Yeah, Austin, what's going on, bud?
Well, you look like you were being aggressive, mixing it up tonight, and it pays off. We saw the wreck at the end, but it looks like you were able to sneak through it and go from probably what was going to be a top 10 to a top 3. Tell us about the last lap and overall your race tonight.
Man, I'm watching it right now. I tried to keep my nose clean. It looks like on that last lap, I kind of filled a gap between Jay. I went up a little bit. I thought I cleared behind him, and it looks like I might have turned him, man. So this top 3, you know, I don't ever want a top 3 for especially turning a buddy like Jay. So it looks like I may have been the cause of that. It may have been a little bit of net code. I'm not sure, but for sure, somehow I managed to get through it again. But you know, turning Jay, I'm not a fan of.
Well, nonetheless, we know crazy things happen at Super Speedway. So to bring home the top 3, you know it's going to still help you out in points. And before we let you go here, though, tonight, is anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Definitely just want to thank you, Austin, you know, for doing broadcasting and always being here to cover. Want to thank the Manny Rays Mafia, who's always watching, and Miss Nancy Hickox, you know, she's always out there. Joey and Jay put on a phenomenal league. Thank all of our sponsors. SPINO, H&H, the Hunting Club, Blue Ridge, and Manny Rays. Did I get them all? I think I got them all. Stayed enough, I think. But, you know, thank my wife and kids for giving me a time to race tonight. It was my daughter's homecoming, so I think they just got home, so I'll probably go hang out with them for a little bit. But, yeah, man, definitely not a top 3 that I want. Not happy about the end result. So, go up there and talk to Jay and give him my big apologies, because that's definitely on me.
We'll still bring home a top 3 nonetheless, so congrats on that. Hey, we'll see you next week at Charlotte.
Yes, sir. We'll see you next week.
All right, now we're going to bring in your second place finisher here, if we can find him. And it looks like he may have jumped out for now. So on that note, we will first move to your winner here tonight. And that is Joey Hickox. Joey, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you get your second win of the season here, 4th one for Hickox Racing overall. Man, it was a crazy finish. I thought at first it was going to be a drag race to the line. Things didn't quite play out that way. You get it by over 0.2 of a second. But, I mean, we got to talk about the run that you and Robert Duvendak made on that top lane, on that final overtime. How did you guys manage to get up there? And then how'd you manage to hold it all off and get the win at the line?
Man, I tell you what, we were coming to the green. I noticed Robert was up there, and I was like, dude, if he goes to the outside, I'm just going to hook onto that bumper, and I'm not coming off in the corners, and I just hope I don't turn him. But we had a run down the back stretch, and I don't know what. I guess they got all disconnected down at the bottom. We was able to clear our way down there, and I wanted to stay behind him until we come off a 4, but then I think it was a 2 truck. He had a run on us, so I was hoping he'd go with me, and then he got in behind Robert. But luckily, man, Chase Gear pushed me to this win tonight. If it wouldn't have been for him, I'd have probably been wrapped up in that big wreck coming to the checker flag. So huge thanks to him. Huge thanks to my teammate. We all worked together tonight really well. I thought our pit stops worked out pretty well, other than, you know, I think a couple of them got wrapped up in some stuff that wasn't their fault. But great pit strategy tonight. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun out here tonight.
You certainly looked like it. We saw you in the lead a couple different times. Now, next week, we head to Charlotte Motor Speedway. We saw you get a win at Atlanta, one of the last mile and a halfs we were at. How you feeling about your chances next week?
I like Charlotte, not as much as I like Atlanta, but it's you don't have to save a tire near as much at Charlotte, but I am looking forward to it. It's going to be a long race, 3 stages in that race. So just wanted to come out the last 2 weeks of the season here and just solidify my spot in the playoffs. So hopefully with tonight's good points in the stages and the win tonight, I think we've done that, or at least extremely close to it. So I think next week is just going to be go out and try to get another win, some more bonus points so we get to playoff time.
All right. Sounds like a pretty good game plan. Before we let you go tonight, Joey, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Oh, yeah, man. I got to thank you for broadcasting. I know you always do a great job. I can't wait to go back and watch this one. Got to thank my mom who actually got to watch it tonight on a big screen TV. Well, her big screen TV in her bedroom. Or in her living room. So I'm glad she's got through her eye surgery and she's back to watching and cheering for us. Say hi to my dad who's watching, my wife and kid who is actually out camping this weekend, but I know my son's going to want to go back and at least watch the end. Got to thank, again, my teammates, Jason, Randy, who's not here, Matthew, and Albert. We all work really well together. Rodney Morris was in the Discord with us tonight. He worked really well with us, so I've got to thank him for the little alliance we got with that team. And then thank all the sponsors, man. First win for H&H Tractor Works being the primary on the truck. Whosoever South, Flatwoods Hunting Club, Manny Rays Cemetery Designs. They do a lot for myself and for this whole league that we have here for NOMA in general. And I know I'm missing Blue Ridge Auto Group. And if you're looking for a new Dodge, look them up online. It's a great place to go.
All right. Thank you, Joey. And again, congratulations on your second one of the season, but first one here at Talladega, of course, of the season. And we will see you next week at Charlotte.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. And looking here, doesn't look like Stephen Hines is anywhere to be found. Your third place finish. Still looking for him here. We'll see if we can get him here in the next moment or so. But, I mean, hey, nonetheless, it was a great race. We had wrecks, but it's Talladega, right? I mean, you certainly expect that. Joey Hickox gets his second win of the season there, and a thriller of a finish. I think certain guys made a couple mistakes, and you could tell through a couple of the interviews there, and we'll see what Steven has to say here. But I think they're going to learn from him. It's going to make for a phenomenal race next week, the cutoff race, and then a phenomenal race throughout the playoffs, the All-Star race at Atlanta, the next Speedway-type track that we head to. We'll see how it goes there. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in here tonight. I hope you all did enjoy as always. And it looks like before we let you go, it looks like we do have Steven in here. See if we can get a quick word with him. Hey, Steven, this is All Up the Booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. Will you bring home the second place finish? Not quite the way it looked like it was going to end coming to the line. It looked like you were behind Duvendak and maybe looking for a fourth place finish. Break that down for us and how you ended up squeaking through it all to get a second place finish.
Yeah, I messed up coming into. I couldn't decide going into one whether I wanted to stay high or low. So I stayed high with Duvendak, or I went low with Duvendak, and I was trying to make it through wide at the line there, but he just kept squeezing me up, and he got turned. So not my intention though.
Well, do you think there's going to be any bad blood between you two going forward and looking ahead to Charlotte? How you feeling about your chances there?
So I don't think so. I'll probably end up apologizing to him here after the race. But sad to put up dinner for the wife, so I ain't used to these top 3 finishes and getting interviewed.
All right. Well, before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yes, sir. Yeah, my dad was watching tonight, so shout out to my dad, my pops. So I appreciate it. Good race.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Steven. Congrats on the second place finish, and we'll see you next week at Charlotte.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate the interview.
All right. Stephen Hines, second place finisher here tonight. That's going to wrap up our coverage here for the H&H Tractor Works 225 at Talladega Superspeedway. Again, hope everyone enjoyed. We will be back next Saturday for the longest race of the season at Charlotte. Don't miss out. Till next time, have a good night.